Well, if it isn't my dear partners.
That voice! It's Navia!
I didn't expect to run into you guys here today. Are you headed somewhere?
How about you, Navia? Are you still busy rebuilding Poisson?
We've wrapped up most of the rebuilding, but there are still a few things left to take care of. Stocking up on materials, confirming construction timelines, discussing compensation terms with families affected by the disaster. Well, though the victims have received relief payments from the court, in my opinion, as the administrators of Poisson, Spina di Rosula should take some Our financial situation right now isn't the best, so all we've been doing is signing agreements for the damages to be repaid at a later date. Though just pieces of paper now, they demonstrate our commitment. They're necessary to
Whoa! Spoken like a true president! You're a really responsible leader. That must be taking up most of your time, though, right?
Oh, you bet. Between that and all the other errands I have to run at the court, I'm always So before I came over this time, I took a page from Melusa's book and decided to make a list of everything. This way. And then, since Melus loved using shorthand, I decided to also follow his example and come up with some shorthand of my own. But after running a few errands in the city, I'm kind of struggling to even read my own handwriting anymore.
That does sound like you, all right. So what kind of shorthand did you use?
Oh, want to take a look?
Let Paimon see! Wait, there's nothing here but a bunch of weird symbols. This looks like a piece of kelp wrapped around a stick. And this other one...
The first one has to do with confirming the final payment amount for the fishermen, while the second one...
Okay, Paimon can definitely see how you might forget what each of these mean.
Thank you for your advice. These are the kinds of things you only I thought that as long as I understood my shorthand when I came up with it, I'd be sure to remember the symbol.
Well, now you know for next time.
Anyway, I should have already taken care of most of the things on the list. There are still a few symbols that I can't decipher, but I don't think they're anything too. Worst comes to worst, I'll just make another trip.
Ah, so you're going to head back now?
Yep, that's the plan. Oh, actually, since we talked about the you said you don't have any plans, right? So we can just catch a boat and head over.
It's a bit sudden, but Paimon doesn't see why not. What do you think, Traveler?
Then let's go. We'll take a boat over.
Oh, you mean the Aquabus, right? Like the Clementine line?
Oh, sorry. I meant our own boat. The Aquabus doesn't have a station near Poisson. All right, follow me. I'll take you there. The engineer is still doing a few routine safety checks. We can head out as soon as we get the green...
So, Paimon has always wanted to ask. The 3 Aquabus lines are all named after people in your family, right?
Yeah, that's right. Callus and Navia are self-explanatory, while Clementine was the name that my mother went by.
If you provided the Mora to build the lines, then why isn't there even a dedicated... Spina di Rosula built all the lines, yet you still have to take a special boat just to go home.
Well, what I heard is that most of our businesses don't actually use Poisson as a hub. So you are right that it is a bit strange, though. If you've already committed to build 3 lines, what...
Yeah, that's what Paimon's saying. The Aquabus is so convenient, it's really a huge shame.
Well, it is what it is. You know what my father was like. Even I often struggled to figure out what was going on in his head. But that would only be the case if he cared about what others thought. My father was always really stubborn. From what I've heard, the rights of all the other members of the Spina only went as far as giving him advice or suggestions, and no farther.
Huh. Well, that explains why you weren't on the greatest of terms.
Yeah, because I wouldn't just let him keep getting his way. He was just...
Boss, the boat's ready. We can head out.
All right, then let's head out. It'll be a while before we get to Poisson. Let's keep talking.
Navia, what was your mother like as a person? Oh, I'm sorry. She totally forgot that you mentioned before that she passed away during childbirth, so you probably don't remember her.
That's all right. I've heard many stories about her from the rest of the Spina. They've always said that they were sure while my papa was stiff like a board, my mother was supposedly super cheerful and funny. Their complementary personalities allowed them to make up for each other's flaws. My father would run the businesses and expand our reach, while my mother would keep the peace and make sure that everyone was happy.
Sounds like they were not just a well-matched couple, but fantastic business partners as well.
Yeah, but those are just stories and anecdotes after all. It's hard for me to piece together a more complete or intimate picture of her, but sometimes I'd still look at the Clementine line and wonder, would the Spina and Poisson still be what they are today had my mother survived? Silver once said that a name is a kind of inscription, a way to etch a memory into the world. When given a name, so I will always associate the line with her in my heart. Over the past few weeks, I've also begun to appreciate how water can take in and hold our most intense feelings and memories, as well as how I've lost many beloved people and memories to the sea. Even though I cannot stop for them and must continue to keep moving, the fact won't change that they existed in my life and gave me the reason and motivation to move forward, always. But no matter what, we can't change the past. But I tell myself that I need to keep looking towards the future. Everyone, even my parents, have all. Besides, I'm the president of Spina di Rosula. I've got to keep my chin up. We've reached the shore. Let's go. I'll show you the...
Navia, do you think she's doing all right? Okay, Paimon supposes you're right. She's really been through a lot. It couldn't have...
Boss, you're back! Traveler and Paimon, welcome back to Poisson.
Oh, hey! Fancy seeing you again, Florent. Is it your turn to take care of Navia?
Hey, I can totally take care of myself. For the time being, I'll go. We did hand over some of Malus's old responsibilities to Florent, though. It's been really nice to have him around to help out.
Thank you for the compliment, boss. As you see, I've been working closely with the boss on rebuilding Poisson. Mr. Malus was an extremely capable and respected member of the Spina. I've got some really big shoes to fill.
All right. There's no need to be so formal. Everyone's practically old friends by now. Were you waiting here for me? Did we manage to make any progress on the statue?
Yeah, we contacted a sculptor about the job, but they can't get started on sourcing a correctly sized block without knowing the design that we want to use first.
You're commissioning a statue?
So basically, we've been meaning to commission a statue of my parents in commemoration of everything they've done for the Spina and the town of Poisson. But since my father was known as Callus the Unfaithful for the longest time, it would have been too controversial to commission a statue of him. But now that his name has been cleared, and the town is also being rebuilt, I thought—
The funds to build the statue were freely donated by the people of Poisson to show their appreciation for Miss Clementine and Mr. Callus and everything they did.
Me? I'm just the newbie president that's running around and causing everyone trouble. Maybe we can have this conversation again in a few decades.
Hey, there's no need to be so humble. Didn't you just help save the entire country?
I agree wholeheartedly. I also believe that Boss should have a place on the statue.
Hey, if you keep inflating my ego like this, I might just float off into the sky with my parasol. Just kidding. There's no way that I'd accept that kind of compliment at face value. At a minimum, I'd have to match what my father— Thanks for the vote of confidence. I just don't think I'm ready yet. Anyway, Florent, now it's up to us to confirm the final design, right?
We can ask the sculptor to start looking for a good block once we've decided on the poses for Miss Clementine and Mr. Callus. But we haven't had any real discussions yet on the possible designs. I feel like I should get a few promising designs first, and then send them over to you to review.
There's no need for all that. Let's decide on a design right now. Hey, you! Come over here with me. Modeling a few poses, of course. Here, just pretend to be Callus, and I'll be Clementine. Didn't you say on the boat that Callus and Clementine sounded like great partners? Well, then there's no one better to fill this role than my Florent. Let's grab some reference shots.
You've got it, boss. I'll go get the camera.
Well, what do you think? Got any ideas? Well, I've actually discussed it a bit with Florent before, but I could never come up with any fresh or original ideas. So I want to pick your brain for a bit and see if you can come up with some new and interesting ideas.
I'm all good here, boss. Feel free to start posing whenever.
A happy pose? You mean something like we were laughing together at a funny joke?
Would all that be able to come through with just—
Would we even be able to tell what they are supposed to be laughing about?
Yeah, and that'd probably be a massive pain to sculpt as well.
Could one of you try striking a pose like you're talking while the other one laughs? That actually sounds pretty hard to pull off. Forget it, let's try something else.
By that, do you mean as if we were standing on a boat and looking out at the sea? Sure, let's give that a try.
Whoa, you really remind Paimon of a captain and their first mate.
Look over there, my dear Clementine. As you can see, every tree on that island is dripping.
But there's something off with the composition. This pose—
Oh, I see what you mean. Then let's swap.
Well, Paimon is a fan. A statue like this would look fantastic on a boat.
Wait, but we can't do that. Very few people would see the statue if we were to put it on a boat.
But then, since we're putting it in the town, the whole point of the pose would be lost.
Oh, okay. We'll try to think of something else.
Imposing, huh? Oh, I've got it. Let's try this.
This pose! It makes me recall Spina di Rosula's glorious golden age.
But isn't Clementine's pose a bit too bold and heroic? Was she really that kind of person? If we were to stick with this pose, maybe people would wonder if she was actually the real boss behind the scenes.
Well, tabloids did indeed speculate as much back in the day, but the Spina pulled a few strings and made...
Oh, Paimon was just kidding! Please don't make Paimon disappear.
What Florent meant was that we asked the journalist to choose a new alias. You're right, though, that this may not accurately represent the image of her in our hearts.
We tried a bunch of different ideas, but none of them felt right. Paimon's all out of brain juice now, too.
Oh, don't worry. We still got a lot of reference shots out of the session, and each of them can be considered to be a souvenir in their own right. Let's just keep the ideas we tried as backups. Man, if I knew I was going to do a photo shoot with the Traveler, I would have prepared a lot of outfits and Oh, outfits! Oh, that's the errand I forgot back in the city. Do either of you...
Oh, Paimon remembers her. She was the one that we met while investigating Mr. Callus's case, right?
Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about. So, after the case, she was finally willing to talk. I said that it's fine, but young children are not allowed to join the Spina. She will just have to wait a few years, and then we'll welcome her with open arms. But how could I get her to believe that I meant what I said? In the end, I came up with an idea, but I got so busy and distracted in the city that I forgot to pick the uniform up.
Don't worry, boss. I can send someone to pick it up right away.
On the matter of the statue, we should still come up with a few more ideas for the design. I'll have to trouble...
We could have just done that from the start. Yeah, you're right. They'll have some value as souvenirs at least.
Navia! Florent, guess who's back?
Huh? But aren't you supposed to...
Oh, well, if it isn't Coulter. Back already from the Fortress of Meripede?
That's right. I finally finished serving my time. Gotta say, turns out I was a lot tougher than I thought. After I got out, I immediately made a beeline back to Poisson. You could say that familiar, briny smell became a primal call. You wouldn't believe how much I've missed Melissa's grilled fish. I dreamed about it every time I had to get a welfare meal.
It's good to have you back, Coulter. You look as well as ever.
And this guy is?
Let me introduce you. This is Coulter, another of Spina di Rosula's members. He was found guilty and sentenced to the Fortress of Meripede some time ago. But, looking at it now, it was probably another one of Marcel's plots while he worked at the Confrérie of Cabrières.
Wait, Mr. Marcel? What do you mean? He was involved in some...
Have you not heard anything at all about the water from the primordial sea case?
Well, I know that Fontaine got flooded, but then the water levels miraculously receded. I thought that was all there was to it and didn't care to ask for any more details.
Oh, looks like we'll have to explain everything from the top. That case. First things first, let me introduce you to these two. They're my most trusted partners, and they've...
Oh, nice to meet you. I don't recall Navia ever generously complimenting anyone like that before. So you must be pretty amazing to get that from her.
Yeah, we are indeed pretty amazing.
But humble again as always.
Nice. Spina di Rosula always seems to attract great people. Oh, that reminds me. Where are Malus and Silver? Aren't they always...
Coulter, a lot of things happened while you were gone. As you can see.
They lost their lives, keeping me safe during the flood.
What did you say? This isn't some kind of morbid welcome home prank, right? You're just scaring me on purpose because I don't know anything about what's happened.
I'm sorry, but it's the truth. They weren't the only people we lost either.
Malus and Melissa. Dead. Malus. I was planning to give him a surprise gift once I
Hey! Keep it...
Malus and Coulter were friends for many years. and even served on many missions together during the early days of the Spina. I can
Let's sit down somewhere, so I can tell you everything that has happened while you were gone.
Okay. All of this, it's unbelievable. I can't believe that those...
I think you and I both feel the same way about the profound tragedy of Malou.
I thought Mr. Marcel would always stand by the Spina. Everything he had, the Spina... It's unconscionable to have received all that, and yet still plot to...
The good news is that the Confrérie of Cabriere is no more. Gone with them too is the entire synth manufacturing and distribution network. We finally closed the curtain on that long struggle.
Are you sure? But if Marcel wanted to rebel against us, he probably sent word in secret to Romeu.
Rome who?
Not a name I've heard before either.
Florent should remember him. You see, there was once a major internal dispute regarding funding the construction of the... Romeu was the leader of the faction that thought such a vast sum of mora would be better spent improving the town of Poisson. But Mr. Callis believed that an opportunity to collaborate with the court of Fontaine and the Fontaine Research Institute was hard to come by. Not only would the Aquabus be a good business investment, it would also boost our reputation among the general populace. But the two couldn't come to an agreement. Romeu ended up taking a lot of people with him when he left Spino di Rosula altogether, and the...
And with Papa's stubbornness, I can definitely imagine how it must have gone down.
And of course, when he was suffering the slings and arrows of outrageous injustice, those relationships that he spent a fortune to build.
Yeah, you could say it was the price he paid for sticking to his beliefs.
Oh, that's a good point. If Callis was really as stubborn as you say, then wouldn't he have argued with the rank and file all the time?
Oh yeah, it eventually became a thing that just happened on every day that ended with Y. But Navia, used to be a lot better with taking counsel. With him listening to our advice, and Ms. Clementine also frequently on our side, it was... But on the matter of the Aquabus, even Ms. Clementine completely stood by Mr. Callis' side.
I never knew. But from my perspective, Romeu's position had a lot going for it.
I think the Aquabus was just the straw that broke the camel's back. On that topic, they believed that Miss Clementine lost her ability to serve as an impartial mediator when she became pregnant with
So they thought she had betrayed them? But that doesn't make any sense. Before she was their mediator, my mother was also her own person, and a member of the...
Yeah, but to them, even taking a side was betrayal enough. Of course, Ms. Clementine then passed away, and Mr. Callis began to regard the completion of the Aquabus project as her final wish.
So that's what happened.
From that point on, Romeu and his people cut ties with the Spina. It never gave us any kind of... Perhaps they've regarded us as enemies ever since they left. But even so,
I've also heard that they aren't in a good financial position, so they've been lying low for a while. But as long as...
I think Coulter's got a point. Both Marcel and Romeu had my father in their sights for a very long time. Even though Marcel's faction has been dissolved, we still don't know anything about Romeu's whereabouts. If they're still trying to get revenge on us, with how distracted and vulnerable we are, now would be the best time.
Good thinking, boss. We should keep an eye on them at all times. I'll let my...
Thank you for that, Florent. And Coulter.
Don't worry, it's nothing. Do you have a moment right now? how about we go out for a walk? I've heard so many incredulous things today. I'm finding it a bit hard to calm down even now.
In that case, why don't we go back to the court? I can pick up Adele's uniform while we're there as well. Want to come with me again, you two? You don't mind, do you, Coulter?
Of course. That's fine by me.
Then let's go! Paimon feels like a lot's hinging on this visit.
We really are the best of partners.
Are we not taking the boat this time?
It's nice to walk from time to time, isn't it? Think of it as something like a hiking trip. Once we're there, we can stay a few days before we return.
Sounds good. I haven't walked this road in a long time.
Well, we've walked far enough for now. Let's take a break. Since we're out for a walk, we shouldn't stress too much about the destination.
I've grown old, so I'm not as fit as before. It's a good thing that at least my work down in the...
Well, Paimon thinks you're doing great. We didn't have to slow down for you at all.
Back in the days before the aquabus lines were built, we often had to hike north with our goods, then catch a boat to the court. Malus and I must have traveled this way hundreds of times. When we were tired, we would lay down for a while on the grass, and when we were hungry, we'd catch a fish or two. The Spina was still on the rise back then. Mr. Callis was generous, and everyone had the chance to strike it rich. So, of course, we all worked really hard. And now, in the blink of an eye, the aquabus lines have been built, and this road has fallen into disuse. Oh, I know. I was just being a little nostalgic.
Then let's stay here a bit longer. Anyone want snacks?
Oh, is this another chance to try some of Navia's macarons? Paimon's been...
Yep, I figured you wouldn't say no to a few more. Oh, wait. Let me check if I have all the ingredients. Malus... Okay. The stove's looking good. Seems like we're all out of flour and sugar. The two most important ingredients of all. Oh, would you? Oh, but it would be too much to ask you to go...
We should contribute to making the macaron, too. Don't worry, we cook out in the wild all the time, so she should have some stuff on hand.
Oh, that's great. Then I'll leave the ingredient gathering to you. As long as we have some sweet flowers and wheat...
Then I'll go look for some boxes nearby for a makeshift table and chairs.
Great. Then I'll prep the stove. Let's get to work, everyone. How did it go? Did you find the ingredients? You've all done your part. Just leave the rest to me.
Whoa, these macarons look and taste magnificent!
Boss's baking skills have always been famous. Everyone in the Spina knows how exceptionally talented she is.
Oh, It's just a hobby. There's no need to praise me for it like that.
Have you two seriously never considered joining us? You're so close to the boss, and she obviously trusts you with all her heart. I see. Is that why you have to always stay on the road?
You just happened to walk in on our little reunion. Adventurers never stay in one place for long. The name of Spina di Rosula would just... Besides, after everything we've been through together, I'm sure our hearts would remain intertwined even if we found...
Even if Paimon was far beyond the horizon, she'd still remember the delicious taste of Navia's macaron.
I understand now. Then I am very lucky indeed to have been graced with the chance to... I will endeavor to make the most of this short yet fortuitous encounter, and enjoy every...
We've got no wine with us, but let's still toast with water.
Cheers! Hey, what are you doing? Quick, join in on the toast!
May your travels go smoothly. May the Spina continue to grow. And may our friendship last...
All right, this is the place.
But where's the captain? There's hardly anyone around here.
She's over there. The one with an eye patch reading in front of the newsstand.
Oh, her! Paimon could tell there was something different about her. She seems kinda intimidating.
Please wait here for a moment. I'll go fetch her. She's working now, so you might not want to get in her way.
Working? But isn't she just standing there?
Just trust me.
Oh, alright, let's see what happens then. Shiori sure is a mysterious person. She claims just to be a fashion designer.
The court of Fontaine isn't particularly tolerant of visitors from overseas, so it isn't easy for a foreigner to promote their brand here. Even a local like me just trying to make a film has to face all kinds of challenges. So I can only imagine what Shiori has been through to get where she is today. I'm sure that having more...
Reading on the job?
Detective novel.
One main character?
No. Multiple. Branching storylines.
I see. How's the plot?
One of the main characters is about to make a choice that will affect the rest of his life.
Any way to speed things up? There's something I need your help with.
You know that doesn't depend on me. It all comes down to what the character chooses.
Which is exactly why I'm here to help.
All right. It appears he made the wrong choice in the end. Halt!
Huh? What's going on?
Hand over whatever you're holding.
Oh, it's just a book. I didn't buy anything else.
Then I'm sure you wouldn't mind letting me have a look.
Excuse me, officer. I don't mind you standing around here, not purchasing anything, but I'd prefer if you didn't disturb...
Don't give me that act. You won't be able to get off so easily either. I am Chevras, captain of Fontaine's Special Security and Surveillance Patrol. I will say that, and before you do anything unwise, let me remind you that I'll have you on the ground before you can even think about making a run for it.
All right. I'll give it to you. But please let me say something first. If there's any contraband in that book, then the shop...
Why, you trying to leave me on the hook, huh? You were the one who said you wanted it.
Save it for the interrogation room. Take them away, Letelier.
What's going on here? 1 second you're reading a book
And who are... Oh! Aren't you the traveler who's been all over the papers recently? Maybe I can let you in on what's happening then. Now that Vacher has been brought to justice, no new shipments of synth will be made and distributed to sellers. The Fontaine guards have been busy collecting the remaining synths. Thanks to a tip from our reliable source here, this should be the very last batch.
Oh, so you were pretending to read a book in order to catch the bad guy. Oh, Paimon almost forgot to introduce ourselves. Paimon is Paimon, and this...
Hey, I'm Shavraz. You probably already heard me introduce myself, so I won't bother repeating it.
Yeah, why didn't you make a move as soon as you had the chance?
No, I wanted to see if the shopkeeper would turn himself in first. All he had to do was come up to me and say that he didn't know where the synth had come from. If he did that, then I wouldn't have had to press charges on him.
He had the whole day to turn the synth over to Shavras. But instead, the moment I came up and blocked...
Yep, he made the wrong choice, even though the right choice was right there in front of him.
But you knew they wouldn't make the right choice.
Yeah, I knew. I was just hoping I'd be wrong for once. Enough about that, though. What did you want to ask me about?
Oh, you see, it's like this.
The Two Musketeers. You certainly have a good eye. So what do you need me to do? Just be the action choreographer for the actors?
Yes, that's right. I want to make sure we get all the details right. I want the actor's posture and understand. However, I'm afraid this work will require a bit of your time, since you'll have to be present whenever we're filming. Also...
No need to say any more. I'll join.
Huh? Just like that?
Really? You're willing to help us with our humble film project?
Sure, it's no big deal. As I said, we've wrapped up our investigation here. Besides, I personally really like this novel. I even have the collector's edition at home. Stories where justice prevails over...
Then we've got a deal?
Yes, I'll see you on set tomorrow.
Oh my! I can hardly believe it! I should tell Lady Farina immediately. Oh, and I must tell the prop manager and lighting...
Calm down, Xavier. The film is going to take more than just a... Still, I should also head back now and start preparing the actors' costumes and makeup.
Alright, guess that's it for today then.
Traveler, Paimon, please stay for a moment. I have something to tell you.
Then I'll take Xavier back. Poor thing. He's so excited that he can't even walk straight anymore. I don't... Yep, see you tomorrow.
All set? Let's move out then. I asked some old acquaintances in town to make Adele's uniform, so we should be able to pick it up right away. Hey there, Ludovine. How's business lately?
The Demoiselle of Spina de Rosula. I must say, your generous patronage is the...
Nonsense. We all know what a talented businesswoman you are. Oh, and don't forget, she's the boss now.
My mistake, my mistake. I just got so used to calling her Demoiselle. Are you here for the uniform?
Yep. I forgot to drop by earlier when I was running errands around here.
I didn't expect Demoiselle to come and pick it up in person. It's just...
Navia's always liked to take even small things serious.
Hey, that's not the only reason I'm here. We mostly just needed a walk to clear our head. There are few things more uplifting than taking the...
Boss has got a point. Going on a...
Very well. Please, wait here while I retrieve the uniform.
Can someone remind Paimon again why Adele wants to join the Spina?
She hasn't given me any concrete reasons. All she says is that she really looks up to me. After we cleared her father's name, she became a lot more cheerful and outgoing. It's probably because she now knows for sure that her father was never a bad... She said she used to be terrified of Papa. So, as a result, she found all the rest of the Spina super scary as well. But the Spina is very different now. she mustered up the courage to talk to me, and felt like I could really understand her. Yeah, you could say that. By uncovering the truth about the case, I was able to give her closure at the same time. She said that she wanted to become someone like me. Someone who could lend a hand to others, instead of standing still and waiting for others to help her.
From the sound of it, she'll be a wonderful addition to the Spina.
I think so too. But for now, let's focus on giving her a great atmosphere to grow and thrive. She can commit to us once she's older, and can really make that decision for herself.
Is something up, Traveler? Huh? Tailing? Oh, Paimon...
I'll go check it out too. Coulter, please hold on to this for me.
All right.
Paimon saw them too! They headed up!
Stop right there!
We knew you were going to be difficult!
Seems like if we want them to talk, we're gonna need to teach them a lesson first.
Brothers, there's no need to skulk in the dark anymore.
Nice and spicy!
Watch out! Coming at ya! Now, talk. Who are you? And why?
Don't think we'll let you off easy if you keep silent.
How did it go, boss?
If you thought they stood any chance against us, you were sorely mistaken. Anyway, stop playing tough and start talking. There won't be any room for negotiation once the Maison Guardian...
We're looking to get... We were discovered, and can't beat you in a fight.
Get revenge? Wait,
You actually know that? But if you do, then surely you should understand why we hate you so much!
Indeed. You haven't got the faintest hope of...
We were out drinking when we saw Navia. We got so angry we decided to follow you guys. Too bad you guys messed up ours first. Huh? You're pretty sharp. But so what? We didn't do anything. And now it should be pretty obvious that seeing you like that just really ticked us off. And we let the drink go to our heads.
listen. Callus is long dead. No matter, I am the current president of Spina di Rosula. If your boss wants to talk with me, I won't press charges for your attack. That should all...
I understand. Thank you.
But if you so much as think about pulling something like this again, I won't be so lenient next time.
All right. We get it. Come on, let's go.
Are you sure it's okay to just let them go like that, Navia?
I don't want to inherit my father's grudges, too. More, if the other side is willing to talk, I'm happy to open the door for a reconciliation. Opportunities for...
I support Boss's decision as well. The concept of an eye for an eye is a primitive practice that has no place...
Yes. Plus, we already know that they're strapped for cash. If their financial situation is that dire, they don't have what it takes to challenge us. So I still think we should keep an eye out for Romeo's folks, though. If he decides to ignore the warning I gave, then we could still have a fight on our hands.
Yeah, those guys definitely didn't look like big fans of yours.
I'd rather things not go that far, since, though we haven't talked to each other for years, once upon a time...
Yep, that's how I feel as well. Anyway, now that we've sent them packing, it's getting late already. So why don't we stay the night in the Fleuve Cendre? I'll also ask someone to write Florent a letter and inform him of everything that happened here today. so he can increase security around Poisson and be on guard against any suspicious individuals.
Do we have to stay in the fleuve sonde again? Even the pillows there smell like seaweed.
Sorry, that's just what happens when you live near water and don't get much sunlight. We can still go out in the evening for some grilled fish and drinks, though. Bet you there'll be people singing sea shanties, too.
Huh. That does sound pretty cool. Coming back here really does feel like this place is starting to grow on Paimon. If you think about it, it would be kind of weird if the Spina's base at the court was some super,
Totally. Right on the money. Although, of course, with the continued growth of the Spina, Papa wanted Poisson to eventually grow into a metropolis. He was a very ambitious man, who rarely looked behind or beneath him. For better or...
And that's also why people hated him just as much as they loved him.
All right. Why don't you go wait for me at the restaurant? I'll go do some prep, and I'll get someone to tidy up your room while I'm at it. You can use the same room as last time. You still remember the room number, yeah?
Yep. Kinda hard to forget when there are only so many...
Oh, did I just hear someone taking a dig at Fleuve Sandra?
Oh, Paimon, sorry! Please have mercy, Navia! If you do that...
I was just kidding.
Say what you mean. No problem's too big to solve. We really need these parts. What's taking them so long?
Hello? Are you asleep yet? Oh, no, not at all. I just figured that since we don't get to enjoy nights like these very... Wanna go fishing? I've got some rods and lures.
Oh, so that's the prep you were talking about.
Hopefully I didn't wake you or anything. Don't worry. You don't have to do any actual fishing if you're too tired. Just think of it as keeping me company. How does that sound? Okay, let's go. To the fishing spot.
Try not to enjoy this too much.
You're in for a little shock.
Yeah. He.
Oh my.
How can you call this fishing when you're using a fully automatic rod?
What's the problem? Lots of people in Poisson use rods like these.
But shouldn't fishing be all about, attentively watching the float and then excitedly reeling in the catch when you finally hook some?
Well, that's one way to enjoy fishing. What do you think, Traveler? Then, let's try regular rods next time.
Honestly, Paimon's mainly shocked at how much energy you still have at this hour. Usually,
It might just be something that...
that's a thing?
I'm sure you'd get even sleepier if I delved more deeply into it. My father always had a lot of unrealistic expectations for me. But the more that my mother never had those kinds of expectations, though. I've heard that she had only one. All the members of the Spina greatly respected her wish. So no matter what I did as a child, they were happy to humor me. Can you imagine? Whenever my father wanted to scold me for something I'd done, everyone would form up into 2 rows and just stand No matter what Papa yelled, nobody else would say a word. Eventually, Papa must have recognized scolding me over trivial matters was pointless.
Paimon would have never guessed.
Yeah. Looking back on it, when I was young, I often thought that I could do whatever I wanted. But once, I saw Malus come back wounded. I learned then that there's always a cost to making a mistake. The more you care about those, because if you do falter, there'll inevitably come a time... Sorry. I shouldn't have. Basically, I was just saying that the nurturing atmosphere of the Spina must have been my mother's and if that's the only way that I can continue to feel her love, then I'd like to pass that warmth on.
Is that why you let those guys go today?
Mm-hmm. Although, maybe there's a part of not wanting to repeat... Hey, look! I think you've got something up...
But why isn't the rod
Oh, there must be something wrong with how I installed the mechanism. We can't let it get away. Come on, you two. Let's catch it.
You want Paimon to help too? You didn't attach a hook to it?
Stop wasting time! The boss ain't gonna wait all day. We'll go ahead with the operation tomorrow. Do with that information as you wish.
Well, your rod was missing a part too, so...
Well, if we're just talking about the number of missing parts, sure. Oh.
All right. Go to bed. I had a great time today. See you tomorrow. So how was last night?
Paimon dreamt that she danced with the sea stars, so you could...
I didn't know you had such a great sense of humor.
See? This guy gets it!
Anyway, let's head out. I'll arrange for a boat to take us back to Poisson.
Paimon hopes she'll really appreciate your gift.
I hope so too. Adele, we're back! We brought you a gift from the court, too.
Whoa! Thank you so much, boss!
Don't call her boss, okay, Adele? Just...
Oh, it's all right. I don't mind. Besides,
It's been a while!
Oh, it's you two. It has been a while. I've heard that you also helped save all of Fontaine.
You're really amazing! And if Miss Navia's your friend, then she must be super amazing too! What's in this thing? Can I...
of course. Go.
Oh, it's a Spina di Rosula uniform!
Well, it's a gift for future you. When you first told me that you were interested in joining the Spina, I was overjoyed. But it's the Spina's responsibility to protect everyone as well. Being a member means becoming involved in all kinds of dangerous... So, I turned you down then by telling you that you'll have to wait until you're older.
Oh, so that's it! Well, thank you so much, Miss Navia.
But you can't really grow up faster by working.
Everyone, I'm really grateful that you remember. Thanks to the protection of the Spina, even though her father's...
Oh, it's the least we could do. As long as you live in Poisson, even if you're not...
Boss!
Huh? Is something up, Florent?
I've got something urgent to report. Romeo and his folks have gathered outside Poisson and even shipped in a huge pot.
What? Explosives?
It seems like they've been planning this for some time. We started investigating as soon as we received your letter yesterday. But Romeo and his folks must have gotten wind as well, because they abandoned their former posts before we could even check on them. We investigated their tracks and found out that they're after Poisson.
They have smartened up since we caught them red-handed at the court?
Seems like they've got no interest in sitting down and talking at all. We should have gone straight to the Maison Gardiennage.
Sorry, I underestimated the situation. Well,
On the hill to the east of Poisson, near the Clementine line.
they want to blow up the Clementine line?
Certainly sounds like it.
Romeo and his followers hate the Spina and everything to do with Callus. And the Aquabus was the source of... If they manage to blow up the Aquabus line, all that rubble will...
Are they insane? There's tons of innocent people in Poisson!
Yeah. If they've been planning this for ages, they're definitely not going to let this opportunity slip by. We have to issue an evacuation order to the townspeople and get them as far away from the entrance as possible. That should save them.
Let's get everyone onto our ship. That should be the safest place.
My dear partner, can I leave the Clementine line to you? If the explosives do go off, not only would the people of Poisson be in danger, any Aquabus is using... Let's stop their insanity first, then settle the score with them.
Leave it to us, Navia. Please stay safe, too.
Let's go, you two. We've got to act fast. Miss Coralie, please take Adele to the ship.
Watch out, boss! What do you think you're doing, Coulter?
I thought all the annoying little hindrances had left, but I still couldn't get rid of you.
You mean this was all a trick? So oh. I get it now. You knew about their plans all along.
Not quite. Though I share their positions on some issues, and that's because out of the entire Spina di Rosula,
You better stick close to me.
Romeo promised me that he would leave Poisson alone if I could just... But it was like you were glued at the hip to that pesky traveler. You never gave me a chance. Romeo has lost his patience. I didn't have to be here today, you know. But I swore that I'd kill you, even if...
Why?
Only someone as clueless about the past as you would ask. You never saw the heyday of Spina di Rosula, nor did you ever live through the golden age. But I saw it all with my own eyes, and then I had to watch it all die, little... And it was all because of you, Navia. Clementine died because of you. Callus died because of you. Malus and Silver died because of you.
So the shock and grief you showed us before, that was in Act II?
Now you're catching on. I heard Malus was dead the moment I got out. Did you know? Down there in that blasted fortress, I spent a long time thinking about what happened. Back then, because of that aqua bus, we had a huge fallout. I was convinced that all he cared about was loyalty. The years passed by in a blur after that. I thought I had finally begun to understand him, but then he died. And it was because of you again, Navia. It's always because of you. I once loved the Spina and Poisson more than anyone else. But what is left now of either besides death and ruin?
Don't listen to him, boss! He's just spouting nonsense!
Have you ever considered that maybe the people around you don't? Have you ever considered that maybe you only get respect because you're Have you ever considered that maybe people don't stay in Poisson because of you, but only because they have such beautiful memories of the past?
Because if you do falter, there'll inevitably come a time when you'll have to face the consequences. Yeah, look, but is that really why they support me?
Shut your mouth! I, for one, really... I don't know how to explain it, but I like her, and...
I'm sure Mr. Malus would be extremely disappointed in you. You've somehow managed to pin the blame for every mistake in
Get out of the way, Florent. I don't want to hurt you.
You're gonna have to. Boss, there's no time for this. Stop hesitating and get out.
Maybe you think you're being the realist by painting the history, but the love that I felt from everyone was just as real. I felt it. They've helped, and even now, I will continue to believe in that love. So let me show you just how much I love.
Umbrella warfare, I guess.
Laurent, I'll leave the town to you. Summon the other members and help with the evacuation of the townspeople. If you find any of Coulter's accomplices, subdue them quickly. And don't give them the... I can't allow my partner to face the danger on the Clementine line alone.
Got it, boss. I'm on it. Are you okay, Navia?
I don't know, but I have to go.
Let's hurry up there! We have to protect the Clementine line! If they're gonna blow up the waterway, they must have planted the explosives next to the support... Windblade! Boba, get them! must be the explosives, right? And this is the control mechanism. How come old Paimon's too scared to touch any of this stuff? Huh? There's a strangely shaped hole here. What is it for? Oh, that certainly sounds possible. Maybe one of the people we just... Okay, you take this side, Paimon will take the other. Let's see what... Let me turn this guy over. Oh, he's super heavy. Oh, you found it! That's amazing! That should do it, right? Navia and Florent should be able to relax now. Oh, you're right. They could have set explosives elsewhere, too. They're gonna bury Poisson!
Great work, partner. Just leave the rest to me.
Watch out, Navia! You can't block them all!
Block? I'm doing this the Spina way.
I heard from Thierry that even they're your enemies now. They were once a part of Spina di Risula. Do you plan to settle this privately with them?
I have nothing more to say to them. Regardless of whether their hatred and anger towards me or the Spina was justified. Please prosecute them in accordance to the law. Spina di Rosa.
Sounds good. We're very appreciative of your help. Without it, the consequence... All right, this operation is a wrap. Take him away.
We won, Navia! We saved everyone!
Yeah. Luckily, we were just in time. It's probably because I expended too much elemental...
But you usually glow up whenever other people compliment you. Paimon's not used to...
Boss, we managed to catch all the infiltrators in the town. The Maison Gardiennage is taking them away as well. Seems like Romeo really went all in on this mission. If he sent literally everyone he had, though, that also means we've caught them all, too. We want to...
Got it. That's good, at least. Coulter, I can understand how you feel. The thing, I am not callous, and I will also never become him. The Spina, but I will not change how I feel about our future. I will spend more of what the Spina earns on the betterment of Poisson. What's more, so that one day, the people of Poisson will...
I know what you're trying to say. Mr. Callus, there are too many things in life that are just beyond our control.
Henceforth, you are no longer... But once you're discharged from the fortress again,
Thank you, Navia.
As I thought. Boss, real.
She is also, I must say, a truly unlucky. Thank you for protecting the Clementine line. I was actually really scared, you know. I mean, even the Callus line won't be getting rebuilt anytime. If I'd lost the Clementine line too, I wouldn't know how to live with myself. A name is a way to etch a memory onto the world. Losing the line that bears her name, that I can see every day. Seeing it still standing there, tall and proud.
What happened while we were gone? Honestly, you look more upset than tired or anything.
Just give her some time.
Thank you so much. Traveler, I want to ask you something. And please, do you really see me as your partner?
Of course.
That's good then. Hearing that, it brings me more
How do you feel, Navia? Any better after taking a break?
I feel quite a bit better. But I should probably still rest for a... Sorry, partner. I said some weird things earlier. I used to think that I'd never doubt myself. Coulter mentioned my parents. As well as Malus and Sylph. Do you think... they ever regretted the choices they made?
Don't think like that, Navia. You've already done more. No matter what others think, we'll always support you to the end of the world.
Well, since it's ended up like this, I suppose it's time for me to make a confession as well. There's something that I've been keeping from you as well, boss. Please, follow me. Everything is already prepared.
Florent, I hope you can understand that I can't deal...
Don't worry. This surprise will be a pleasant one.
Why is everyone gathered here? And what's...
This was supposed to be a gift to you from everyone in the town. We were originally planning to but special times call for special measures. I've never seen you look so defeated before. Well, if you're ready, I'll unveil the present.
This is Papa. Mother.
We designed the look for Miss Clementine based on old camera records, as well as personal recollection.
Wow! This is the statue you mentioned before?
It is indeed. To be honest, we decided on the design a long time ago. We only asked Boss to decide on a design so she wouldn't realize we had already started.
How could we only have statues of Mr. Callus and Mrs. Clementine?
Even though Boss is still young, we've all seen the work she's put in.
We wanted to commemorate her contributions with a statue as well.
I don't know what Spina di Rosula was like in the past, but I know...
With Navia around, We're not worried.
We are gathered here today to tell our boss that we support you and believe in you wholeheartedly. I believe
That's what we believe as well.
Thank you so much, everyone. This really is quite the surprise. I never thought that I'd have the chance to stand next to my mother